Hey, welcome to today's video. As you can see, we are going to be reviewing the RØDE PodMic cardioid dynamic broadcast microphone. It's a long title, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. To me, this is one of the best mics you can get for the money, and I have been meaning to make this video explaining why, who it's for, what it might set you back, and is this a good mic for you? Let's get right into it. So, this microphone, I use it a lot, and that's another thing. This video is not paid for by RØDE. They did not give me any of this equipment. You know, I bought both of these. As you can see, I'm using one, so you're getting an automatic sound test, which is nice. But I bought both of these with my own money for my podcast and my client work, because I do a lot of client podcast work, I guess I should say. Anyways, I actually originally bought these because one of my clients has like they wanted like a bright, airy look to their podcast. And we have a lot of these black microphones, but because they wanted that certain look, we went ahead and purchased the white ones. And so I've used these a ton, and the sound quality is really good. We're going to get into all that good stuff. But if you are wanting to start a podcast, check out in the description. I have a link to my free book, The Podcast Growth Engine. It's an ebook, totally free. Click the link, go down, scroll down a little bit. When you get to the link, press download. You'll be able to download the book, totally free. And I also have, I would call a masterclass. I mean, it really is like a very in-depth class, course on how I structure all of our podcast, and not only that, but how we do pre-production, production, post-production, but also how we are able to take one podcast and create sometimes up to 80 pieces of content, I'd say between 40 and 80 pieces of content from one podcast recording, which we do every single week. So that's 80 pieces of content potentially every single week. If you guys want to check that out, it is currently on sale at the time of this taping. Maybe it still will be when you watch it. Just click the link in the description, and the website is forcecreates/podcast growth engine. And when you go there, of course, if you just want the book, please do download that. That is free from me, just for you watching this video. But do check out the course, because there's also a community built in. There's AI tools that are free inside of there. So there's a lot of value in the course that you can use for your podcasting purposes. But let's move on. So what do you get in the box? Well, it really depends on which one you order, because if you go on Amazon or B&H, there's a lot of, as you probably already know, there's a lot of different options out there, because you can get the mic, you can even get the RØDECaster 2, which we're using right now, the audio interface. But if you just buy the mic, you're normally just going to get a short, I'd say 6 to 8 foot XLR cable. And that's something to mention here. This microphone takes an XLR cable plugged right into the back, and then that can plug into your soundboard, your audio interface, whatever. They do sell another copy of this. It's about double the price, and it has a USB connector as well. So if you just want to go into the computer, you can do that. And all the links to all that stuff, guys, is in the description. Full disclaimer, I do get a very small sliver of those sales. So if you want to support the channel and you're going to be buying the mic or this equipment anyway, go down to the description. You'll see the list of everything we're going to talk about, plus a lot more. So I appreciate it if you do that. But you're going to get that. You're going to get a polishing cloth, which is kind of standard with just, equipment nowadays. So I want to talk, I'm trying to make this video quick because I just don't want to waste your time. I think this is the only mic you need, personally. But I know there are better mics out there that are more dynamic. But for the price, I don't think you can get a better mic, because you can always get on Temu or get on DHgate or even Amazon and get some of these cheap mics for $60. We've got a few in here, and they're okay. We started with those and they worked for a while. But in terms of the quality and the name recognition, that's another thing. RØDE is not going to, no offense to other companies who have a broad spectrum of quality. I don't want to say their names, honestly, but you know who I'm talking about. They've got $500 pieces of equipment and they've got $5 pieces of equipment, and it's almost like two different companies. RØDE is going to put out quality no matter what, even if it is the lower price ranged quality stuff. So yeah, even their lower quality is really good. And to me, for $99, I mean, we're actually probably about to order 2 more of these, but I mean, you just can't beat it because some of the mics out there that a lot of big podcasters are using, you know, they're $500 a piece. And if you're bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, I see the reason you would upgrade. But if you're just starting out, or if you're like me, where I use these for my clients, I take these all over the place. And that takes me to another thing, a little trick for you guys. If you go to Harbor Freight, they sell this brand it's like a Pelican case, right? It's Appalachia. This is a 2800. So the numbers are just kind of like the sizes. But because I take these all over the place and use them for almost all my clients, my podcasting clients, this is really nice because I just slot them in there like that and can transport them safely. You know, they're not in a bag jostling around. They're not just on a mic stand, like sitting in the back of the van or what have you. So yeah, I think for $99, and they look good. I mean, there's something to be said about the looks of this thing. They look really good. Build quality is pretty freaking impressive for the money. Full metal. I mean, everything about it is metal, and that's not something you find at $100. I mean, we've got another mic in here that was like $75, and it was on sale. It was like a normal $100, and a lot of it is plastic. Now, it does have the USB connect, so there's that. But build quality wise, you're not going to find anything better. And to be honest, like even Rhode's lav mic sets and stuff, they're plastic. These are metal. Now, the downside of that is that metal build is these are really heavy. I have this little boom arm here, and normally I just keep, if you watch the channel, I just keep this mic on there. That way I don't have to move it back and forth. This mic stays at my desk all the time. It's just a Zoom ZDM1. Decent mic, good enough for what I'm doing here at the desk. But even this boom arm is not really graded for this weight. I don't know the exact weight. I will put that in the description as well, but it is a little heavy. And so while we're using it on our podcast and client podcast, it goes on a regular music, floor stand, mic stand type thing. And of course, we got the white, which just kind of matches or whatever. Of course, I always use the silver because we have 2 whites. We have 1 silver and I think like 4 black. But anyway, I digress just a little bit on all that. But the build quality is really good. Just keep in mind it's really heavy and be careful with it too. Like I usually will put like little 10-pound sandbags on our mic stands. I know it's not totally necessary, but to me, it's like we're all moving around the equipment all the time. And if somebody was to trip, I would just like that little bit more security. And if somebody doesn't really know how to place a mic with a mic stand, like the leg on the weight side, where the weight is, you want a leg under that, it can tip over really easy. And we've actually had that happen twice. Luckily, the mics were okay. These weren't the mics that fell, though. It was some other microphones. But, you know, a little sandbag goes a long way. Sound quality, well, you're getting that right this second. The vocals are super full and present. There's less room for noise with the condenser mics. I'm running it through the RØDECaster 2. We'll do another video on that. And that, you know, that has its own layer of compression and noise cancellation and all that good stuff. I really like this mic. The thing it doesn't have that, like say the Zoom had or came with, is this bad boy. So, you know, you might pick some of these up on Amazon. We'll put a link in the description. And I probably should have put it on for this video, but I did want you to like see, you know, how it actually looks. Connectivity and setup, of course, I told you mine is the one with the XLR because I have audio interfaces. We were using the Zoom H6 for a while, and then that was just like a pain in the butt. And then the RØDECaster has totally just changed my entire workflow. It's really changed my life. I know that sounds silly, but the RØDECaster has changed everything. And that's what we're using now. You can't see it, but it's down here. I'm literally touching it. It's just like always right there on a little rolly cart. Again, if you go into the video course on podcasting that I have, link in the description, you'll see all that. Like I've got my entire setup on a rolling cart, and we move it around the studio here because we might shoot over in the roastery room. We might shoot in the warehouse area where we have the green screen and, you know, the interview soundstage, if you will. And then a lot of times I'm just doing videos in the office here. So I just literally roll this podcast setup around the office. It's really, really handy. But inside of the course, I show and talk about a lot of that stuff and kind of show you my workflow and how I just make it easier on myself. But yeah, that's kind of the features internally into the mic and the build quality, of course. Pros and cons. So there's not a ton of cons, but there are a few to mention. So pros is it's excellent vocal clarity, as you can hear. A little bit of pop noise because I don't have that pop filter on here. It has like a broadcast sound. So in my head, using like a shotgun mic, it's a very pinpointy, thin sound, which does cut through music pretty good if you're doing like documentary work. This has more of a rounded out sound. Of course, I always tell my guests and people like, hey, I don't want you touching the mic, but the closer you can be, like when they're like this, hey, yeah. I'm like, hey, get closer to that mic. It always sounds more full when you're closer to the mic. It's great for podcasting, streaming, voiceovers. And I actually know a guy who owns a radio station and he uses them. Not necessarily in the radio station. They have some mics that are in there, but they do a lot of traveling, like, getting out and doing road shows and broadcasting from a location, like a car dealership or something. And they use these mics and they sound, in my opinion, just as good as, the nice $1,000 mics that they have inside the studio. So cons are going to be, you need an audio interface. This is not going to plug straight into your computer, okay? Because that's an XLR input, and there's no XLR inputs on computers. That would be pretty cool if there was. There's usually a USB or USB-C. Nowadays, it's USB-C. Of course, you can get adapters, but I thought about getting the USB version of this, and maybe I should have gotten one of them. Maybe I will get one of them. But because I had the audio interface, and now that I have the big audio interface, which you're actually seeing a picture of right here. This is the RØDECaster Pro 2. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Is that the one I got? Yeah. Mine's just not white. Mine's black. I like the white one. It's clean, but it won't be clean because it'll get dirty. You do need that to plug this in, to route it, to record to a memory card or route it to your computer. I have routed my RØDECaster into like GarageBand, and it records great there if you just want your files like on your computer. I just record to a memory card and then move them over. But it's not ideal for musical instruments and wide range recording. I've experienced that. I've actually used it to sing into on our podcast. It does okay. Of course, I'm not in it like this when I'm singing. I'm singing past it. And so I just wanted to kind of pick it up. But, and then the mic stand thing, we talked about that, this one, like I would rather the mic be here, but when I did that earlier, it just went bam, like unexpectedly. So I've kind of got it a little lower, and I'm just having to lean into it. Like I said, I don't use this on my desk a lot, but I really wish I could. And maybe I'll get a better boom arm and another one of these to have at the desk at all times, because I do like this one better. It's just, just have this one always there. I don't have to take it on and off, all that good stuff. Again, guys, if you want to start your podcast the right way, if you want to kickstart it, go over and get the Podcast Growth Engine, which is my book. Sorry, it's a free ebook. It's a book and a course. The book is free. So if you're a reader, you're going to get all the information or most of the information. At least the concepts are in the book. I can't necessarily, walk you through a lot of the editing setups in the book, but the concepts and the philosophy that I use to do all of our podcast work, not just for myself, but for my clients, that's in the book, and that's free. So go down the description, click that, get it for free. Like, don't do anything. If you don't do anything else, get that for free, and that will help you kickstart really the philosophy of podcasting, in my opinion, and how you can turn that one podcast into lots of content. Because if you just do it as a podcast, totally fine. Do what you want, boo. But to me, it's like cutting down a tree. If I cut down a tree just to get the pine cones to make Christmas decorations, I just leave all that wood laying there to rot. People who cut down trees will know you cut down the tree and they pretty much use every piece of the tree for something. Even the scraps get cut up into sawdust to use for something, or wood chips to use for animals. The tree analogy is kind of weird, but for me as a country guy, I understand it. I know that they use every part of the tree. So a podcast is the exact same way. Rather than just make a podcast and put it as audio, do it as audio and video, and make clips out of it, and make YouTube videos out of it. And hey, why not just get your website SEO up? So anyways, get the book, and if the book is compelling, or even if what I'm telling you is compelling, go get in the masterclass. There's a free community. Well, there's a community once you get into the masterclass. After that, the community is free forever. And then you've got full lifetime access to the course, which currently at the time of recording is on sale. So go check it out, and that will kickstart all of your podcast dreams, and also just make it more sustainable. We talk a lot about in the course, showing up and making it sustainable, because I see a lot of people start a podcast and 3 episodes in, they're done. So there's a lot to learn in there, and I had to learn it so that you don't have to make the mistakes that I made in the beginning. So check it out. So we talked about it. This mic is for podcasters primarily, streamers, YouTubers doing voice-only content, or like we're doing right now, how we're using it on a stand. I think is really good for that. I think the USB version might be better for that. Now, if you're doing like Zoom calls and meetings, you're definitely going to want the USB version, because it doesn't really make sense to have like a RØDECaster Pro 2 or RØDECaster just for that. So my overall thoughts, final thoughts, it's a middle of the road podcast mic. Okay. Not cheap budget, but not super high budget. It's got a professional, clean sound. It looks good. I mean, come on. Aesthetics is a big deal. This mic looks good. I mean, look at that. And there's not other mics like it. That's kind of interesting to think about, because this, from a distance, looks like the Sennheiser, or the Shure, whatever it is, SB57 or something. That does, and I like it for that reason. I was like, hey, it looks like an expensive mic, even though this is like a $70 mic. But this one has a very unique design. And we're actually about to get into the design options that you can get if you want this mic. Again, all of these links are going to be down in the description. Supports the channel. You can click those, purchase what you need. We'll also have mic stands, the RØDECaster links. So if you need any of that stuff, check those links out. But these are sort of the colorways, I guess. The first one they came out with, I believe, is this one. It's the classic. For me, that probably would have been better for our podcast. And maybe when I order 2 more, we're going to get the classics. Like I said, my clients, and I'll show you a few of them. My clients they have a certain aesthetic.
If you had to pick one flooring, tile, material, whatever it may be, to represent your personality, what would it be and why?
Yeah, you can see this just matches their look, and we only had 2. So
if I had to choose,
definitely worth investing in more of these.
I would probably say the star and cross design. I think it's really unique, but it's also kind of a timeless pattern, something that is coming out.
So you can see she's a little far away from the mic.
Like, it made traveling a lot easier. It's a lot better than using a map and then
an atlas.
Yeah,
because at least MapQuest told you when you were supposed to turn on what road.
Audio's a little behind on those, but anyway, you get the idea. Like, we had to get the white one. I didn't have to, but the white ones just look better for that light, white, bright aesthetic. They also have a red screen one, I noticed. I just saw that today, actually. And in looking at all these colorways for you guys, I saw that Amazon has some options for little screen housing type things that go on the mic. So that might be interesting if your podcast is like for a high school football team and your colors are orange, white, and black. Maybe it would make sense to like get something to kind of match the aesthetic, and it will set you apart a little bit. So anyway, thought that was kind of interesting. So the regular mic with the XLR is normally going to run around $99. Now I've seen it for $89. I've seen it for $79. I've seen it for $105, but average, I think I did pay $99 for mine. If you want the one with the USB hookup, it has the USB and XLR, by the way, so you're getting like both. It's not like you just pick one. Those are around $199. Again, you can find sales, and you can find links for all this in our description, so check that out. But yeah, guys, I think that does it for this review. You've gotten a really big audio sound check with this. It sounds good in my headphones, and hopefully it sounds good to you. Again, if you want to jumpstart your podcasting journey and just kind of get ahead of the curve and not make some of the mistakes I made in the beginning, check out the book, The Podcast Growth Engine. It's when I say completely free, you actually don't even have to give me your email address. It's like, it's free. Opt into the email. You don't have to do that. Click the link in the description, go get the book. You can scroll down just a tad. It's like just a little bit down, and you'll see the same image, and you'll see download. click that. If you want to really jumpstart yourself and get $1,200 worth of value, to be honest, which we had it at $500 and now we're slashing it down to $375, just because I just feel like I want this information to get out to more people. I could keep it at a super high price and that would be fine, because I don't rely on this for my money, by the way. I own a video production company. We do lots of work. I don't have to do this necessarily, but I just thought, hey, I know how to do this. I've done a lot of podcasting. Maybe it's time to share this knowledge. And it's another way to just help support the channel. If you want to take our course, the Podcast Growth Engine. Again, all the links are in the descriptions, boys and girls. Go check it out. And yeah, I appreciate you watching this video. I will see you next time. Peace.